So we're doing the naturalization, and finally, now I wanted to remind, because I wasn't sure if Tina was here, to cut to the end, because I don't know if Tina saw this last time. So I was looking for the voter registration, sorry, I was looking for the naturalization papers for Ferdinand Wartman, because we had this San Francisco voter registration entry from 1875 that said that he was naturalized on August 4th, 1875 in California 4th District Court. And so that was what started it. And I keep telling you, you guys gotta stop and you gotta think about the history of the place that you're in, and go to the Wiki, though I shouldn't have had to go to the Wiki to remember the San Francisco earthquake. And so in 1906, the courthouse and all records were destroyed. There are no naturalization records that we're ever going to find for Ferdinand. There's just an index. Apparently he's on a list that was sent, but we're not going to find him. So sorry about that, Tina. Anyway, all right. So then we talked about fold 3, but I did learn a lot as I was searching for those records before I realized I wouldn't be able to find them. And so I wanted to share what I learned. So we're going to go back to Ferdinand, and we're going to pretend that we don't know that this is a fruitless venture, because often you start out and you have no idea if it's a fruitless venture. So we started out with Ferdinand, and we had collected a bunch of voting registers from California, because they are one of the places that publishes their voting register, that has their voting registers online. And so we knew where and when he was naturalized. But I also found this death index, and I wanted to, I think that I covered this last week. So I wanted to point out again, when you come up with something and you're not sure what you're looking at, you want to, in other words, you're no problem. You understand that this is the name of maybe you can't read it, but you're betting it's the name of the dead guy, the last name, the first name, probably the middle initial. Don't know what this is. Then there's a whole bunch of 1s with occasional 2s. Don't know what that is. And then we have the age, okay, so 76 years old, 69 years old, all right. Don't know what those are. Place, I'm getting a little lost here. And now, okay, date of death, that's good, I got that, that's useful. Date, maybe filed, the year the death was filed. And then other stuff I don't know. All right, when you don't know what is in a record, you want to learn about that collection. And so you go to the index page, and this is the case for FamilySearch. With Ancestry, I'll show you later. So here's the title of the collection. It's a hot link. We're going to click on that. It opens up the index page. We want to click on how to use this collection, and we get the article for that collection, and it tells you what's in it. It tells you that we have this code for age is 1 for years, 2 for months, 3 for days, 4 for hours, 5 for minutes.
Wow.
So
that's awesome.
That's telling us that This is code 1, he died at age 76. This is code 2, he died at age 4 months. Okay, this is code 4, died at age 8 hours.
Oh.
So, you know, now we're getting more information here. And then we have the place code, and that goes with this.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the lesson there is look to find out about the collection, because somewhere there's going to be an article that describes it. And we'll be seeing that is true for Ancestry as well. All right, so back to naturalization. So we had this date when he was naturalized, August 4th, 1875 in Cal 4th District. So we look at the other entries to get an understanding about what that might mean. How is it similar to, and how is it different? So some people were naturalized in Cal 12th District. Okay. So we go to here is the record that we were looking at, and we want to ask ourselves, what is this exactly that we're looking at? Don't just stop at the page where you have the cool information. Again, you want to understand, where is this information coming from? And so, oh dear, Miriam's attending a funeral.
Oh.
Okay. So we go back to the grid view, and I zoom out and I look upstream of the record for something that looks like the beginning of that section. And we've got, this is the supplemental list of resident voters registered on Great Register and Ward Register of the 3rd Ward of the City and County of San Francisco from September 1st, 1875 to October 5th, 1875. So that does give us some additional information. You know, we understand now that we're talking about the 3rd Ward. It's clear now that we're talking about the City and County of San Francisco. All right, so I want to find out what records I have available for the City and County of San Francisco. And I go to the Catalog tab, and it opens up the search box where I can select the fields that I want to examine in the Family History Library catalog. So I choose place. Place is the default. I start typing in the name, and it gives me a drop-down list. In this case, I'm going to pick San Francisco, the county, rather than San Francisco, the city, because I just start big, work small. And you can see here that once I've done reviewing San Francisco, the county, I'll just be able to click on places within San Francisco County and get to the city of San Francisco. So I scroll down, I look at their collection for court records. Now, we have attachments from the district court. So clearly some stuff survived. If I'm not sure what attachments are, I can open this link and I can go to the article that describes it. So we have the Register of Chinese Immigrant Court Cases and Foreign Seaman Tax Cards, San Francisco deaths for a 4-year period. We have Supreme Court Case Index from 1895 to 1910. Now, that would be an SC maybe, but it's definitely not a district court So we're kind of screwed in that. And anyway, it doesn't cover the time period that we're interested in. Oh, and it's for Sacramento rather than San Francisco. I go down to naturalization, and we have selected indexes to naturalization records of the U.S. Circuit and District Courts for the Northern District of California, 1852 to 1928. Well, I remember from that entry in the voter register, it did not say U.S. District Court. So I am now a little bit confused. So I'm keeping that question in mind. Of course, I went and looked, but is there a difference between the District Court, Northern District of California, and the California District Courts 4 and District Courts 12? So I'm starting to have some questions in my mind. All right, so now I go within places within the United States, California, San Francisco, and I can choose San Francisco and go down, and we've got some things that we've already seen. Private land grant cases in the U.S. in the Circuit Court of the Northern District. Register, again, we've seen this one. And we have the naturalization records, California, City and County of San Francisco, 1860 to 1923. Again, this is the District Court, California Northern District. We have California, San Francisco County records. So these are a couple of things worth looking at. We go to the page, California City and County of San Francisco Naturalization Records, and scroll down, and there's this naturalization index that covers the period, and we're looking for Wartman. It covers the alphabetical zone that we're looking for, and that is on this particular film. You notice that we have the camera here, which means that we're looking at images, but we don't have the magnifying glass. So that's a reminder. There's an awful lot of records that you can look at that may actually be fairly easy to review because they're indexes that you will never see if you simply type a name in to the search records box. These items, none of them would show up as a result in a search where you type a name in. So you
Why not?
Because they've not been indexed. All that has happened is they have taken the pictures and put them online. No eyes have gone in and read the records and typed in the names that are on the records.
So those would be records that somebody, if they want to index, they may come up or they may use that particular film, right?
They may someday index these, but it may be years because it is an index already. And so it's going to be fairly simple to go in and find your people because it's going to be alphabetically organized. And so there will be other projects given priority over indexing this one.
Gotcha.
And that's the case for a lot of collections. If there's an index, you can find it even if it has not been digitally indexed. You've got to be aware that you have to go into the catalog and you have to find these collections and look.
Mm-hmm.
Don't.
So that would be true for any and all states, not just California.
Yeah. Any and all states, any and all countries. Anytime you are researching anybody, You can't just rely on typing names in and doing searches. You have to go into the catalog and you have to do some searching around for the places to see what collections are online that have not been indexed. Okay, and so I find the card for Ferdinand Wartman, and it is 1898 stamped here in the corner. It has his name, lots of blanks. He's naturalized August 4th, 75, city SF, state Cal, and we have PR period 4, DIST period 45. Now, we know from the voter registration record that he was naturalized in something called District Court 4, so might be this. So my question is, what is this information? Well, don't get your hopes up, but sometimes you're able to find things out and sometimes you're not. Okay, so I go to, okay, I did not include my long and fruitless journey about that. I went and read the article about this collection. It did not explain what Form 112's contents signified. I went to Google and I did a search for Form 112 California Naturalizations 1898 Index. I did all sorts of searching, and I never.
Google doesn't know everything. Google doesn't know everything.
You know, it just may be that I wasn't using the right search. So, hold on, dog wants in.
So I guess she thinks Google does know everything. That's funny.
I can't believe, here's the thing, I just can't believe that I am the first person to look at this form and say, what does this mean? So at least there should be a bunch of questions about people asking about Form 112, PR period and DIST period. And there aren't, so I'm curious about that. I just want to make sure, okay. All right, so I looked at the other California, San Francisco County records. We look at the, browse the images. All right, in this case, we have different collections that have been collected together. Coroner's records, that might be interesting, but I'm interested in naturalization and citizenship. And I go and open that, and we have Naturalization Index 1898, Naturalization Supplement Index 1858-1944. And that is essentially the same index that I had already found. So I'd run a dead end using the catalog. I didn't come across any collections that had more than that index card in them. So now what? Well, let's go to the wiki and let's see what these obsessive compulsive genealogists have discovered. If I am sounding like a broken record about this wiki, it's just because it is so useful. So here I went to the broad category of California online genealogy records to see what they had to say. Again, I've got to emphasize there isn't, I can't say that there's no rhyme or reason to the wiki articles. There is, but there are also articles that that people contribute to, because this is a wiki and it's all from contributions from individuals, you can't expect to find all the information you're looking for in one place. So you want to try different searches on the wiki and thinking about, well, I'm interested in records about San Francisco naturalization. So I want to look at the wiki articles about San Francisco County, about California, because you don't know. Oh, Tina's trying to get on. All right. All right. Let me just tell her we're on meeting number 2. Where did she go? Okay. Yeah, don't take bathroom breaks.
Excuse me?
Well, she texted me about, about 5 minutes before we changed, and I didn't catch the text. And so she stepped away at that critical time, and then we were gone. So
That is my number 2 rule of life. Never pass up a bathroom.
That's right. I agree, Diane.
I know.
Never.
Okay. Sorry about that, Tina. We switched horses. Did we get her in?
Not yet.
Do we have you, Tina? Yeah, we've got her. Tina, you there, right? Well, she's logged in. I can't hear her. Okay. Okay.
Oh.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Oh, God.
What?
oh, good grief.
See, I have a new.
Somebody's computer crashed. She
Yeah.
can't be in the meeting.
Tina's.
Yep.
Okay.
My husband was curious as to what was going on.
She said she can hear us, so.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay, so you guys are.
And she's brilliant because she knows how to do that little pop-up message. I don't.
I don't either.
That seems really valuable. Let's let us stop for a minute and let me see the chat.
Yeah.
Okay, computer crash allows for video and voice. Okay. All right. So she is sending me a chat. When you move your mouse around, you'll see a row of buttons at the bottom of your Zoom window. The
Yeah.
mute, the video, security, participants, chat. If you click on chat, that is going to open up a little screen. It might be at the right side under the names of the participants, or it could be something separate in the middle. And it has a type messages here. Right above it, it has a little arrow where you can choose whether to send a message to everyone in the meeting or just to a single individual. And
Did
this
you
is,
just get my message?
Yeah, it came through.
Yep.
we got the message from
Yep.
Diane. Okay. So, and you can also send files, and you can save the chat and other stuff that you will want to do with. All right.
Technology is amazing. It's
It
just,
really is. Sometimes
amazing.
overwhelmingly amazing. Okay.
How do I get rid of the chat now?
There should be an X in the top right.
Close. Okay. I see.
Okay. All right. So let's go back to the wiki.
Ian.
Oh, right. Okay. So
I saw that, Ian.
you want to really dig through the wiki to make sure that you're learning everything about the records that might be available for the location you're looking in. So here's the California Online Genealogy Records. This is links to online records. So it is a separate collection. It's not going to have, you know, a lot of information. It's just going to have links to online records. Well, this is great. This is what I want. There is an article, U.S. Online Genealogy Records, with subcategories for California, for your state. This is something you're going to want to take a look at. Vital records, history, naturalization records. It has a whole slew of stuff. Now, I would suggest being very systematic when you are looking through this. You might want to highlight, copy, and paste this into a Word document that you can annotate as you go through each one. So
I
that
second that.
yes, when you've got a whole bunch of records like this, I mean, collections like this, you need to get systematic.
Because you
So
will
the
forget
US
where you've been and you will forget where you're going.
And when you go back to it in, you know, because you get pulled away and you go back to it, you're thinking you're going to go back to it in 15 minutes and you go back to it 6 weeks later, you have no idea what you've looked at and you have to start at the beginning again. So going through these U.S. passport applications, well, we're not interested in that. We're staying focused. We're looking for county naturalizations. County naturalizations 1831 to 1985. Let's see. So that may be one that I do not know why I didn't show you that. That might be that was the index card.
It's getting a little bit loud. It's getting a little bit loud.
Okay, Pat,
Yes,
what was that? You said it was getting loud?
my other half over here with the.
Okay. Well, put yourself on mute so that you can have conversations in the background and just unmute when you want to talk to us.
Okay, just a second. What? No, but I sure can. Could you
Pat?
turn it down a tad? Yeah.
Put yourself on mute. I'll put you on mute, and when you want to talk, you can unmute. Okay. So this county naturalizations 1831 to 1985 was that index card that we'd already seen. So then we have county federal naturalization records 1843 to 1999. The dollar sign means that this is a collection that is not FamilySearch. This little box with an arrow leading out of it means it's going to take you to a FamilySearch page, a FamilySearch collection. This means that it is a subscription collection. When we click on that, it takes us to the Ancestry website. Now, if you don't subscribe to Ancestry, you want to start out by going to your Santa Rosa County Library and log in to your Ancestry link outside the library and leave that running in the background. And then when you click on something like this, it will automatically open it to that page. So this is federal naturalization records. And I suspect, given that the voter registration entry said Cal rather than US, I suspect that what we want are California court records and not federal court records, because you did not have to go to a federal court in order to get naturalized. You could go to any court at all.
Oh, really?
Yes. So don't think that you're limited to just the federal courts if you're looking for naturalization records. So I look over here at the browse through the collection, and we've got District Court, California, San Francisco. Click on that one. And now we have subgroups. These are collections within this category here. And we have petition number 17,848 for Ambrosio Giusto in 1929 through petition number 18,091 for Otto Rudolf Gruenberg, 1929. So these seem to all be 1929. Oh, here we've got Irina Lemmer, September 16th, 1984. Okay, so I can cross that one out. I went through the list, did not find anything there. The next item for California County Naturalizations, 1849 to 1949, was the same index card that I saw here in the 1831 to 1985. So now I'm down to California State Court Naturalization Records. And we wanted August 4th, 1875, California, 4th District. This is looking really good. We've got 3rd and 20th District Court, Santa Clara County. We had the County Court, Amador and Jackson County. We've got the 10th District Court, Colusa County. Well, of course, we don't have the 4th District Court because apparently it was the court that burned down in the fire in 1906. But we're now seeing that we do have district courts for California, separate from the district court for the US. And I've gone through all of them and I did not see anything for San Francisco at all. Now I know why. So I X'd that one out. US naturalization record indexes, I'm still not giving up on that. And I browsed the collection for California and it gives me the option to choose Northern District of California. And that includes Register of Applications for Naturalization from 1879, Index to Certificates of Citizenship and Petitions for Naturalization. That would cover the period that we're interested in. So I opened that collection up. Did I? No. Index to Certificates of Citizens and Petitions for Naturalization, 1855 to 1911. Okay, I did a search of this. Okay. So I did see that this collection, it's been so long since I made this presentation, I forgot what I was doing. So when I saw this index, I did not immediately leap to typing in a name and searching. I wanted to see what this index contained to have some idea whether it would be relevant. And I did that by looking at what was in the collection, in the browse the collection. And I saw that, yes, it did have something that looked interesting. And so then I went back and I typed in the name and gave it the flexibility for an exact spelling, a sounds like, or a similar spelling. and I only got a single entry for Baron Wartman. I opened that to look at what it looked like, and you can see here's Baron Wartman on July 7th. He's from Germany, and it gives us the book and the page number. So this is the Northern District Court of California. In this case, I want the State District 4, not the U.S. Northern District 4. There isn't any reference to the State District 4 because we're looking at the federal courts. If this was my guy, I would then be interested in finding volume 12 of the U.S. Northern District of California, where I would find Barron's naturalization on page 414. So I X that one out. Shasta County I X out, and California, San Diego I X out. We've got the California Northern U.S. District Court Naturalization Index, 1852 to 1989. Now here's a description. The circuit courts include the Special Circuit Court, the 10th Circuit Court, the 9th Circuit Court for the District of California, the Circuit Court for the Northern District. The district courts are the Northern District, the Southern District, the Northern District, the Northern Division of the Northern District. Okay, and it comes from narrow publication M1744, Index to Naturalization in the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of California. What the heck, I go through and look at what's available. So I've gone down, I've clicked the option to browse, and I've looked at the browse options. We're looking at Wartman, so he would be, if he existed, in this group. And we go and we find an index card for Lothar Wartman, and this is clearly U.S. District Court at San Francisco. So it's clearly not going to be where our guy is. So we're seeing that there's district court records from the U.S. District Court and district court records from the city of San Francisco or the county of San Francisco and other areas. So when you're looking for your naturalization, you want to keep in mind that you don't, unless you have a voter registration roll, something like that, that tells you the court he was in, you're going to need to be searching a lot of different courts because they're all going to have their own indexes.
And that pertains to all states, right?
That pertains to all states. All right. So you can see we're working our way down the list. We skipped the San Diego because we know he wasn't San Diego. We skip all of these because they're things that I'd already checked. And we've got the naturalization records in the Superior Court of San Diego, the Southern District, no. San Francisco surrendered alien certificates. Doesn't cover our period. So we struck out. I was not happy because I had not looked at the history of San Francisco. I'd not stopped to think, so I was still thinking I would find it, but that is what happens.
Now you know my frustration with Ethel Cutter.
Right.
I always strike out.
No, we don't give up.
I'm not giving up. I'm frustrated.
So I wanted to find out this thing. You go back and you look at whatever clues you've got. And I'm just going to give you an example from this week. This is just a complete digression, but it really exemplifies. I'm going to go off off screen so that you can see my face. How do I, okay. So I was working this case this week, and, you know, this was a tough one. We were looking for a mother who'd been separated from her child when he was a baby. And the boy had been raised by his mother. And, the boy had been raised by his father. His father was still living, but he was not really helpful. So we were really grasping at straws. And it came down to, I Googled, you know, for the umpteenth time, the name of the mother. And I just started reading everything in the Google blurb results. And a name caught my eye, the name that the father had said one of the children was named. And I looked at it, and by God, it took me to a profile that this guy's half-sibling had written 10 years ago on her mother, where she said, hi, you know, my mother was, and it's a common name. So if I hadn't read every little blurb on the search results, I would have ignored it. The reason that I read those blurbs was not any altruism on my part. It was procrastination. I did not want to work on trying to fix my desktop computer. So I was procrastinating. I was doing useless stuff. And I came across, by total serendipity, this ancestry tree that this woman had made 10 years ago. And it laid out the whole family history with the correct spellings of people's names and the correct people's names. And we knew it was her. But according to Ancestry, she had not logged in for 10 years, or she had not logged in over a year. I don't think she logged in 10 years, because the message that she wrote was dated 10 years ago. Okay, that was the first bit of just dogged, deep search serendipity. We went to the FamilySearch background report checkers, checked her name, found some results, emailed every email address, did not find a single email address that worked. We tried Family Tree Now, we tried Spokio, Truth Finders, Ben Verified. We got not a single current email address or phone number or Yahoo, Facebook, anything. So I went back to that tree that she had created on Ancestry, and I looked at a listing of all the people in the tree. She'd only made 46 entries, profiles for the tree. I looked at every individual profile. I found, and when I went to look at her pedigree, that was how I recognized that she was the sister of my client. But of course, her pedigree did not have the pedigree of her children. And so I looked at the pedigree of her children, and I found that one of her children had a grandmother that was deceased. And so I began to research that grandmother that would have been the mother-in-law of my client's half-sister. I found her obituary. I found the names of her children, and I researched all of her children. We found an entry that the client's sister had made on a memorial for the mother-in-law when the mother-in-law had died in 2010. So we knew the name of, and she named her son, and the name of her son led us to which of the mother-in-law's children she had been married to. So we researched him. We found his Facebook page. We found him in the background reports. We emailed him, we called him, we got in touch with him. He was kind of iffy.
What do you mean by iffy?
Well, iffy in the sense that he said, yes, well, I can't give you her information, but I'll tell her that you called. And so then 24 hours later, the client calls up the husband and he says, yeah, I talked to her this morning. I didn't get a chance to tell her. That kind of iffy. Okay. So, you know, all right, what do we do now? Well, the client persevered. She went through and she scrutinized everything on it was ex-husband's Facebook page. And she found a picture that he had posted on Father's Day where he mentioned the name of his son, not the son related to my client, but some other son. She went and looked at that other son's Facebook page. And at the very first picture he had posted was a picture of his baby brother. And she looked at all the people who made comments on the baby brother's picture and found my client's half-sister using a bizarre nickname. Okay, so
Whoa. How did she know that that was her person if she used a bizarre nickname?
Yeah, it was recognizable. It was not what you would make for a nickname. It would be like your name is Diane. She had Deedee, D-E-E-D-E-E, okay?
Which is my nickname, by the way.
And the last name,
FYI.
which was a common last name. Okay, great. So now we had the Facebook page for the client's half-sister. We go to that Facebook page. She has privatized everything. Well, I'll finish this. She has privatized, we can't see her friends list. We can't see her posts. We can't see her pictures, her likes, her anything. All we have is her banner picture and a picture of her face. So we can see that her face matches the face of the woman who created a profile on Ancestry. All right. So I sat there and I stared at that for a long time and I kept trying to click on that picture in the middle of her banner. Her banner was a pretty, palm trees on an ocean. And I ignored that for the longest time. Finally, because the picture itself, the picture of her, did not let me open it. She had privatized that picture so that I couldn't see any comments or posts or tags about that picture. But she did not privatize the picture on the banner. And when I clicked on that, there were 3 people who had posted reactions, like or a happy face. I went to each of those 3 people. I found one of them had a lot of entries where she had commented recently. So I found his background reports. We called him. 2 hours later, the client was talking to his sister.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. So
I have 3 words for you, Kay. Ethel Cotter money.
I know. What I'm saying is you don't leave any stone unturned. You just keep staring at the screen and thinking, what am I missing here? All right, that's just a lesson. Let's go on back to, and we'll go to the next meeting. What can we learn about records that we've got when we're trying to dig out everything? And so this is where I said, okay, what can I pull out about this PR 445? And so I started out with a history of California court system, thinking that that might give me something. And actually it did turn out to be where I learned about the separation of the US District Court from the California District Court. So that wouldn't be a bad thing for you to review for whatever locality you're working in, to understand what is the equity, court of equity, what is the court of appeals, what is the district court, what do all of these mean? Dog moment here. Because court systems really do get to be very confusing, and yet they are an invaluable resource in researching our ancestors, if they got in trouble with the law, if they were naturalized, if they had civil suits, loans that were arbitrated in civil actions, naturalizations, of course. So it's not just, was my ancestor a criminal, that he would have had something to do with the court, but if he lent money to somebody and that person didn't pay it back in time, there would be a civil suit. And that civil suit would perhaps tell you about what location he was living in, how long he lived in that location. So it's worth learning about the courts where your ancestor lived that might have had jurisdiction, so that you can look for those records, because the court records have not been digitized at the rate that vital records and other records like that. So they are things where you're going to end up getting a ledger that has an index in the front. So you'll have, for example, court cases of 1875, and you will look at the index in the front, and it will tell you what page your ancestor's court record is for that ledger. So there is an index, but you may have to check on it year to year. So I came across this nice PDF document, California Courts and Historical Perspective. This is the kind of thing that you really want to see if you can find for your location. And so it says, okay, Superior, I did a search for naturalization, and there was only one entry about Superior Courts. They have original jurisdiction of all cases in equity, of certain cases at law involving title or possession of real property. Now, equity, think in terms of the, buying and trading at the equity stock markets. Equity is sort of ownership of property, shares of property, making sure that people get the share of property that they're entitled to. So this article is giving me an explanation of the different courts that might have interacted with my ancestor in California. The following is an outline of the court system approved by the convention and incorporated in Article 6 of the California Constitution of 1879. Diane loves this, but looking at the Constitution that was in effect at the time that your ancestor lived in a location will give you a summary of the court system that would have had jurisdiction over him. And so going back to Google, I do a search for California State Archives. The state archives were used to just going to FamilySearch and Ancestry, but the archives may have collections that have not been given to or made accessible to Ancestry and FamilySearch or MyHeritage. You want to look at your state archives, you want to look at your county archives. If your city has an archive, you want to find your city archive. And so we have here the California State Archives, and that takes us to the Court Records Program for the California Secretary of State. We have finding aids. These are things that will give you descriptions of what is included in the collection. A finding aid is not going to be an index that you can search for your individual's name. It's going to tell you the exact types of records that will be in there and the exact time periods and the exact locations that will be covered, so that you will be able to determine whether it would be worth your time going to look at that collection. So you'll want to explore the page. We have the Courts Records Program, we have your sidebar, collections and catalogs that tells you about highlighted collections and a link to the online archive of California. To search more collections, try our online descriptive catalog, Minerva. All right, so this is, you can enter search terms. I want to see what articles are on this website about naturalization records. And it gives me search results, family history resources. There's a whole article about family history resources. Of course there is. So you want to take a look at that. It talks about naturalization records. State agency collections of interest to genealogists include records of the California National Guard. You hope not the Folsom and San Quentin prisons being relevant. Youth authority records. These are unique collections. Bernie just joined us. These are unique collections that you're not going to find most likely on Ancestry or FamilySearch. So you want to take a look at your state archive pages. Here we have county records 1850 to 1987, includes probate court files, wills, naturalizations, deeds, homesteads, and vital records for 28 counties. Not all records are available for all counties. All right, let's take a look at, hold on. Looking for so we're looking at the city and county records. and we do a search for San Francisco and it finds 0.
Hmm.
I scroll down, I can't believe my eyes. I've got Placer, Sacramento, San Diego, Santa Barbara, Santa Clara. How could they not have San Francisco? And I ask myself, could
Was
San
it always San Francisco County, or did it become into being at a certain year?
Good question. That's exactly what you want to be doing. So now you want to find out, could it be under a different name? Could it be that there's a separate collection for San Francisco County that is not, so it is not included in this collection? So you've got to ask that question. And that's when I went to the San Francisco County Wiki on the FamilySearch website, and oh, that's right, there was the earthquake in 1906 where the courthouse records were lost. And I still don't have an answer to that PR 445, and I would really like.
Can't you just
Is that
Google
precinct?
the question?
Is that
Well-
precinct 4, District 45?
What we,
Sure, that's what
That
it
would be
is.
my guess.
what we know from Ferdinand Wartman's voter registration is that he was naturalized in California District 4. So why would it have District 45? So I need to read more, and I didn't,
Well, I have a copy of that, and it is precinct 4, Assembly District 45, San Francisco County, 1898.
okay, where did you find Assembly District 45?
It's on the register, the California registers, on Ancestry. I downloaded every single one of his registrations, and
Okay,
it's on there. Let me upload it to.
this thing here, right?
Let me double check. Mine's a little different than that, but yeah, probably
Okay.
the same thing.
Can we swap over to you?
Sure. Let me pull it up on my screen and figure out how to do that.
Okay, so I am going to stop sharing. And, all right, because I want to get more details about, because that makes a lot of sense, that it's Assembly District 45. And
All right. Let me figure out how to. Okay, where? Come on, Zoom. How do I? Oh, there we go. Okay, so now screen share. Okay, you have disabled participant screen sharing.
I always have to change that. Thank you.
Isn't it just the share screen?
Yeah, I just.
Yeah, but she's got to enable it for me to be able to do it.
All right, go.
Oh,
Okay, so here's my profile on Ancestry, and I have a lot because I downloaded or I attached every single one of them. And when we go down here to 98, I believe it's this one. I think it's this one. Let's see. Nope, that's the city directory. Okay, it's this one then. See the source. Yeah, here we go. Okay, let me see if I can enlarge that for you. So at the top of mine, you see register
Yeah,
precinct 4, Assembly District 45, San Francisco County, 1898.
Have we
And then-
ever mentioned about the value of actually reading every single record you've got and not just saying, oh, this is going to be just like the one I had before? I won't.
Right?
There you have it. Okay. That is the answer that I was looking for. That's exactly, and we've run into this so many times. Never.
And his is the very top one there.
Right.
So I was looking to see, it doesn't say like these others say, I guess San Francisco Supreme.
Right.
This one is just District San Francisco, California.
Right. So,
Hey, you should open up a wiki page to explain this.
yeah, actually, but it doesn't have to be me. It was Tina who found it. So what you could go in and do.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
All right. So I'm going to take this back. And
Thank you.
okay.
You're
But
quite
really all I did was just attach every single file that I knew was him to
But
my
then
Ancestry tree.
But then you did something else, which was you looked at every single one.
Oh yeah, I did, because then I also, with each one, like, I don't know if you noticed, but one of them, I did the where you can create your own category, and I did physical description, because one of those, either the voters registrations or whatever, gave me his physical description, and so I created a category. I attached that to his tree, so then if I came across another document that gave a physical description and I wasn't quite sure if that was him, I could compare the two. And with each one, if it mentioned, like when I find an obituary, when I attach that to the tree, I'll also attach it to every profile that's mentioned, but then I go back and I add residents and put the year and the date and where they were, so it lists all of that down in on their profile page where you can see all the life events. So I kind of can just at a glance go, oh, well, yeah, they moved from here to there in such and such year or whatever.
You can do that on Legacy too. I'm just saying.
Okay, I want to pull this up. I was hoping that we'd get straight to him, but we didn't. Let's see. He died in 1907, right?
Yes.
So what do I have wrong? Oh, marriage, not marriage. I want his death. Okay. So that should come up now.
I'll warn you, there are a lot of documents for him on Ancestry. They're mostly the registration and city directories. And while I was doing this, at some point I got discouraged, thinking, why am I doing this? Because it's the same one every year, but it wasn't always the exact same one. And I'm glad I went ahead, because otherwise I wouldn't have probably persevered through 1898.
Exactly. All right. So now I am trying to find your Ferdinand Wartman.
That's not him.
And right. So what am I getting wrong about this search?
Well, he's born in Germany. I don't see, maybe take the exact year off, because I think we're the ones that discovered when he died. I don't think it's actually on Ancestry.
Do you have, so you haven't added that to his profile?
I have added it to the profile that I have, and my tree is private but searchable.
Oh,
I'll double check the settings on that, but I'm pretty sure it's searchable.
that might be.
I need to change it to public, and if so, would it show up now?
Right. So.
Or I can just tell you, I can just put a link in the tree to it. I mean, I put a link.
Let's do that.
Okay, let me do that.
Go to. Chat.
Gosh, I'm like dying.
What's going on? Is somebody going to the hospital?
Okay. Okay, so it's,
One of those deals. Okay, hang on one second. Let me change my setting to public, and then let's see if the link will
okay.
work for you. Okay, it's changed now. Again, I don't know how long it takes to be effective.
About 2 seconds. Okay.
Awesome.
All right. So,
Can I ask the question? Is there a reason why you kept it public? I mean, private?
Because I'm working for a client. This
Oh.
whole case is for a client, and
Okay.
there's a lot of there's
Okay.
a lot of twist and yeah.
Okay.
There's some privacy issues on
Oh,
this.
okay. Okay. I didn't understand that part. Sorry.
But I did have it
Intrigued.
searchable, but I don't know why it wasn't coming up.
so we've got all right. So here you've added his physical description.
Mhm.
And we never think about doing that on Ancestry. I understand why you're doing this on Ancestry, because it's for a client. You can do the same thing. You've added occupation, residence. You can do the same thing for your families on FamilySearch. And unless you have a valid reason like Tina does, I will be irate if you are not providing this information on FamilySearch. So if you go to a person's profile, you have that add. We've got your vital section, the other information section.
No.
You add all sorts of information.
Okay.
All right.
okay.
Naturalization. You can add occupation. You can add residence. You can add a custom event. Let's see, facts, race. You can add custom facts about physical description. So here you can add your physical description. Let's see, all right. So we can go in and put in all sorts of information. Now, you're saying, well, geez, that's an awful lot of work to do. You don't do it for all your ancestors. You do it for the specific ones that you're really devoted to researching. And you do it, this is a way of adding flesh to the bones.
Well, and if y'all remember right, in this particular case, remember we had the 2 Ferdinand Wartmans, and we were trying to sort out who was who. And for me, keeping up with his occupation with each document that I was looking at, his physical description, his address, let me know, because then I knew exactly when he moved, and I could look at files, because there's more than one of these Ferdinand Wartmans out there, and I could cross-reference mine. Of course, I eventually got really familiar with, okay, where he lived, when he lived, all of these things, but in the beginning I wasn't, and so I needed that to sort out, okay, oh yeah, this guy right here, he's not my guy, he's a construction worker, or he's, a mortician or whatever, he's not my guy. And so that's how that all started with me on this particular case anyway, is documenting like every little nuance of everything. That's him at the top.
Right. One other thing that I would suggest you're doing, if for some reason you need to have a person, a family on FamilySearch, you can add, so if we go to my tree here,
yes, I've been wondering how to do this. If you're fixing to put the Ancestry link on.
Exactly.
Yes, I've really wondered how to do that.
All you have to do is go down to add web link.
Aha.
And go over here and copy. Well, let's actually go.
Well, that's putting this on Ancestry though, right?
Right.
Can
so
you do it in
it's-
reverse?
And so to go in reverse, we would do, we would copy this URL. We would go back to FamilySearch. We would go to a source. We would add the source. It will be a web link, and we're going to enter the web link for Ancestry profile on XXX tree, and maybe you have multiple profiles. Maybe you have your tree, but somebody else has a tree, and you want to have links to various relatives' trees on your profile on FamilySearch. So you can put down the FreeSep tree and label it by the member name. All right. So let me go back to your Ferdinand, and let's get him. All right, so we're going to cover Ferdinand, and we're going to go and put him here, and we're going to say that this is the tale of Eugene. What do we see? I want to get the name of the whole thing. How do I do that? Let's view the tree. No.
It's the tale of Eugene Anthony Valencia is the name of the tree.
I'm wondering why I can't find that on my own. Well, that's just the way it is.
If you go, when you go to overview, it doesn't show you there either. The only other place I know to do is go to my profile, and on
Yeah, I
under
was
my
just gonna say
profile,
that.
it'll show my trees. It's a
Yeah.
bunch of them.
All right, so if we open your profile, then we can find that the tale of Eugene Anthony Valencia. So we'll copy that, and we'll put we'll put that down here in the describe so that I know something about her tree. So it's in the profile on, and the member was Tina Shavers. Okay. All right. So, and I'm going to leave the date blank, and that way it's not going to sort chronologically. I'm not going to add it to my source box, and I'll save it.
Hey, you just say the tree that you actually copied into that was not from my tree.
This one?
Yeah, but that's not what you copied it from. You copied it from something else.
Hold on a sec.
I mean, unless I'm mistaken, go back and click that link that you just put in there. I'm pretty sure, because I was thinking, when you did it, I was thinking, I don't know who that is.
Nope.
Oh, my bad. Okay, never mind.
I just slipped that in on you.
You did.
Okay.
She's slippery. What can I say?
I am. So, you know, that's a good thing to do, because you may have a need to go back and forth between them. And,
yes, today, in fact.
right. And so you can, you know which tree it is. You can have multiple people's trees. If you have multiple people that, you know, are researching, and they all have ancestry trees, and you want to be able to check on Aunt Betty periodically, you can run ahead and do that.
Now, I know we only have like 3 minutes remaining, but what were y'all talking about creating a wiki?
Right. So let's go back to the wiki, and let's go and find that San Francisco Naturalization Index. Let's see if we can do some keyword searches. Naturalization index San Francisco, California. Let's see what we find.
Nope.
Okay, hey, don't nope too fast. So let's go here and look at
I went.
the, now let us look at the digital image and see if this is where we had our card. And so let's see. Ferdinand Wartman, and let's do a search. No, okay, so it wasn't that one. Was it, oops, was it this one?
I think it's the one after it.
I wonder if it was this one where we had to go through.
If you scroll down a little bit more.
Let's see.
Oh,
Whoops.
no, it's not there.
Let's
It was
see.
on that first page.
Okay, here. Okay, great registers. I've got this bar from Zoom in my way. I'm going to close that. And I'm going to close this. Okay, so catalog search results.
Could you pass me my
If you go all the way back to your first tab there, and then open that up,
animal crackers?
and then scroll down.
Okay,
Okay, that one right there that says
Selected
selected
index.
index, I think that's it, but I'm not positive, but I think that's it.
all right, so we've got this, and okay, so that was, you know what we can do? Here's something brilliant. We'll go and look at his profile and see what we've got attached. Okay. All right, so let's go to the tree and we'll go to the person. We'll find him on the recents. There he is. And we're looking for 1898. Do we not?
Okay,
have
did you
it?
not attach it
We may not have attached it on
on Family Search?
Family Search.
But you
So let's
attached it on
go
Ancestry,
there.
right?
Yeah, we've got
Yeah,
it
it's
attached on
there.
Ancestry, but we, you know,
But you got to find it on
on
Family Search if you're
Search
creating a
to get
wiki,
that-
right?
Right, to get that collection. Okay, so this is for 1896, but it is showing Register 4th Precinct 45th Assembly District.
Okay.
So that is the voter registration. Now we wanted to find the index card. And so we were looking at Ferdinand. Do we see the index card? Naturalization Index, California Records. Okay, so we've got a couple of items here. All right, let's take a look at this one. And so we're looking at, right. Okay, so here we are, Wartman Ferdinand. We're looking at the California County Records, 1824 to 1907. All right, so let's go to, and actually it showed up in a couple of places. We have the collection Naturalization Index for California, San Francisco County Records. Now, actually, we've listed the date here of 1875. The index itself was made in 1898, which shows him naturalized in 1875. So it's entirely subjective what date you put here, whether you're putting information from the record, the date pulled from the record, or the date of the record. All right, so we're looking for the Naturalization Index for California, San Francisco County Records. And we're looking for the supplemental. Okay, well, let's just do this. Let's find the Naturalization Index for California. Okay, how do I edit this?
I have to leave, everybody.
All right,
Bye,
bye-bye.
Diane.
And
Bye, Diane. Have a good week.
You too.
bye.
Thank you.
So let's copy this title and we'll go to the FamilySearch catalog and we're going to look for the title that we just copied. No result found. All right, let's
Wow.
try, which means that we want to now be creative. Let's try looking at keywords and see. Okay, let's try going back to, because this is the world we live in. Let's go back to home, Naturalization Index for California. And let's see if that gets us. Okay. And let's see now if we can find San Francisco. Okay, it doesn't have San Francisco there at all, but we know that we found that. Okay, another way that we can do this. Let's go to this where we have the
It's at
item here. Let's look at it. And it is not telling us let's go down here at information. Information is giving us a link to the record in the wiki. So now if we click on that, here we are in the wiki. Okay, and we want to see if there is a wiki article about this. About this record. We want to find an existing wiki article. It's references in California, San Francisco County Records. Let's go upstream on this and open that up. All right. View digital images about this record. Contains. How can we find the article about? Perhaps there is not an article about this collection. So let's see. So we want to be focusing on Wiki itself. California San Francisco County Records. Okay, contains naturalization records and indexes. So this is the descriptive article about this collection that includes California City, County of San Francisco naturalization records. Let's see if we can find this collection in the Wiki. So we'll go back to the research Wiki, and we're going to enter that collection name and hit enter. It says we can create it. So there isn't anything for that collection itself. Let's see if we can find an article about, well, let's just get down to nuts and bolts. We have found this article about California San Francisco County records, and it includes the collection naturalization records and indexes. And we want to add information about what these records tell me. The following information may be found in these records. We've got the naturalization index. Let's look at the picture for Ferdinand's. And compare it against the information. Okay, the name of registrant, I'm going to move this tab over here so it's next to this one. So we have the name of the registrant. We have where he's living, his age, occupation, nativity, when and where naturalized, and date of registration. Residence, age, nativity, date of naturalization, but it doesn't say anything about the precinct and district number. We want to add that information. So we've got sample pages from the Naturalization Index of 1935. And we've got the records here. All right, so we've got the Naturalization Index 1898 to 1929. Let's take a look and see if there is a wiki on that. Before I edit this, I want to see if there's a more direct. So I'm going to go up to the wiki and do a search for that collection. And we do have the San Francisco County records that we're looking at. New York, Idaho, all right. So that is the best that we're going to do. We want to add in that the 1898 index includes information about the precinct and assembly district. So where we want to ask where we would want to do that. Thoughts? What's your instinct about where this would be useful? I'm thinking to add it here.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go in here and edit this. And anyone can edit. Every improvement helps. Switch to source editor, start editing. Well, let's try something. Let's start editing. Generated form, column begin, column break. Okay.
I'm just talking about the naturalization index, the probate, you know, those columns there.
Right, right. I don't want to do that. Let's cancel that. Let's,
So did you need to choose the editor?
let's choose the editor. Let's see if we can get back to this. No. Let's view the source. No. Let's go back to the article and let's view the source, edit the source. Okay, so now we can see we've got, this is showing us all of the HTML code. And so we want to add a line of HTML code. You can switch back to visual editing. The reason that I'm not doing the visual editing is because I'm editing a table. And death reports, name of bride. Here we go. The following information, here's the naturalization index, the name of registrant. So this is where we're going to add it. We're going to add the same, we're going to add the precinct. Whoops. The R number and assembly district. Is that correct?
Yes.
Good.
Let me make sure that I'm getting exactly right. DIST, okay.
Wouldn't you want to put that before the name? You know, because you're looking at that index in order, you know, I mean,
it's going under naturalization index. I'm putting at the very end
okay.
because I am going to add the well, actually, I see your point. We should have these in order.
Reading it as it goes down the index.
So let's do that. Let's add that before the name. And we're going to say precinct, PR, and naturalization index. And I'm going to put in brackets on 1898 index cards only. Okay? All right. So we have done that. Is there like a save or something?
Yeah.
So let me see. You can see I do this all the time.
Top, the
No, maybe it's
down
just,
arrow. That's it.
maybe it's just live. Special characters. So let's go back to the no, it didn't. So we do need to do some other step. What is the other step that we need to do?
You would think it would be at the very bottom.
The
of
top there, is that you got the bold, the index, you got the link, the mountain thing. Then next to that, is that a save? No, that's a bookmark, isn't it?
You know, we've got sandbox, preferences, watch list, move. We can bold it. Okay, we have done stuff.
Well, wouldn't it be all the way down?
Oh,
There it is.
All right. So I'm over here and I'm scrolling down and nothing's happening. Do you notice nothing's happening in the page around it?
Mm-hmm.
So I am scrolling through the document that I'm editing. I have to move my cursor outside of that. Now I can scroll down and see the bottom of the page. And this is a minor edit. We're going to save the changes. And let's go back to on 1898 index cards only, precinct PR, and assembly district DIST.
Voila.
Voila.
Wow.
All right, so we figured out how to do that. And it worked out. So I think that was a valuable thing to do. I'm not sure where else we could make that change. I'd like to make that change everywhere that the collection is discussed. But I think this may be the only place where the collection's discussed. Naturalization Index, San Francisco, and we've got the let's see. Let's check this one. Okay, see, this is just giving us the link to it. If we go here, we've got San Francisco County Records. We go to how to use this collection. And we've already made that change there. Let's go to California County Naturalizations, Federal Records, State Court Naturalizations. Nope, that's the Ancestry version of it. I think that's the only place where it exists. County naturalizations, that's the one that we would wish that we could have gotten, but did not get, because let's look at the coverage map. And there, well, no, it does show San Francisco. All right, so let us see. How do I search this collection? All right. So let's make sure that this is also taking us to the same records. It's saying that it's got 130,000. Search by name by visiting the collection details page. And let us look for, I want anybody who was naturalized in San Francisco. Let's see, residents. Let's do residents of San Francisco. And go 1800 to 1905. Okay, let's see if we've got San Francisco at all. No. So I'm suspecting that that collection does not include San Francisco. Let's see. And that we don't need to make an addition there because we don't find. Okay. California County Naturalizations. Let's take a look. This is a
County record.
all right. So this is an index. It's not the card. And what is this?
Well, it says it's a county record.
Right.
This is a naturalization record.
Let's go back to this and read the California County Naturalizations. Consists of records.
And that's, we looked at that earlier. There's no, it's down here, down under Sacramento.
Right, right. Where did it come from? Whenever, image visibility. Because we're not seeing this. This is what I wanted to see for San Francisco. What we're getting is an index. And let's take a view out. And we're just seeing this index page, volume 22. Let's go to, zoom way out and see if we can find the beginning of this collection.
Looking at records in the book. No? Looking at records in the book.
Okay. Return to Department of, okay, so again, what we're looking at here is a voter registration list. So this is not actually a naturalization record. It's the Supervisor of Elections office. And it's all we have for San Francisco. Because of God and wooden houses. So this one, if we go to, we should be able to find Ferdinand in this one. And let's do a search. Because he should show up in that. So they don't have it.
Mm.
You know what I want to do?
What?
I want to find him in this damn thing, because he's got to be in this thing.
Well, it looks like it's alphabetical, so can't you scroll back to like?
So what?
What
Yeah, let's see what we're looking at. The date might be. So we don't know the date of this. These people are showing 1920s. Okay. So, but it says volume 22, 1873 to 1926. So let's go to Wartman, because he was 1875. And let's see. Okay, that's just a check of the let's just jump down to here. 800. Okay. And 820. All right.
Getting closer.
Closer. Okay, it should be on that page. Let's make that full screen. And we'll close that down. Woods, Woodside, Wolf.
Nope.
So I wonder why he's not in this, because we have
Because they got somebody else, 1878, Benny Wertheimer.
right. Which makes me wonder whether this is the voter roster for 1926,
Oh,
which lists the naturalization of people who were in the voter registry in 1926.
yeah.
And how do we find that out?
I know. So we're going to we're looking at volume 22.
But if it's 1920, didn't you say he died in
Died in
1907?
1907.
Right.
That's why we don't see him showing up. So let's go. We're looking at volume 22, naturalization supplements. And so we've got the Naturalization Supplement Index, 1873 to 1926. And it just goes straight into it. Let's see, we want to find out what is this Naturalization Supplement Index. Let's see if we find it in the Wiki. No. Let's go and let's try our friend Google. San Francisco. Sometimes that's the fastest way to search Wiki. So it doesn't find that at all. Naturalization. I use the asterisk to take the place of some number of words. I'm still hoping to find the FamilySearch Wiki that refers to this collection. And I want to, we do have something there. We have it showing up in a blog that somebody has written. Then we have it showing up on ads. The Latvian Society is interested in that index. Okay, so it's just giving us the waypoints to get to it. It's from the San Francisco Public Library. Okay. Let's get rid of the date here. And we have, I'm going to pull this down into a new window. And then just cover that one up. All right, so we've got the article here. Everybody up. Naturalizations, just so the naturalization supplement is just showing up that one time in that article. Now, the reason that it's worth doing this right now is just because you may, in the future, run into a record like we've run into here, where, okay, sorry, thunder dogs have to come back in. Yep, I didn't think that would last long. I can't turn it off. All right, so we ran into this document, and we know from looking at the front of it, we were able to, somewhere along the line, we saw that it belonged to the elections office. Let's see if I can. Okay, I'm not going to drag you through that. So we found this record. Our person is in the record. We don't quite know what the record is, or our person is not in the record, and we expect him to be in the record, and we want to know why he's not in there. There will be times when you do need to dig deep and figure out what the heck this is. And you know what? It's almost 1 o'clock, and let me do a little digging on my own, and we will do this on another day, because I realize this is actually something that we should do on a full stomach.
Okay.
Okay?
I second that
Girl.
motion.
Yes.
I've been steadily munching animal crackers.
Well,
Oh yeah, yummy.
my
One of the
comment
5 of us has a full stomach.
My comment is a supplement to me means something extra that maybe these people didn't make the other list, and now they're on a second list.
I'm glad you said that, because I was actually afraid to ask that question. Well, exactly what does the supplement mean?
Right.
That's just, just a.
That's what we think, and that is going to help us in our search for, in phrasing search terms, to find out something that explains what it is. Because generally, you don't want to assume what a document is and where it comes from.
Well, that makes sense, yeah.
Right. You do want to try and find out. And so I'm going to do some digging to see if I can find out. There is recreational genealogy, and then there's there's a time for both. This may be a document that you would want to say, okay, maybe I'll attach this collection to Ferdinand and say, or put it in his notes. I did not find Ferdinand in this collection. I'm not sure what it is. It has other people who were naturalized in the time period. I'm not sure why he's not here. I think maybe because this is an index that was created in 1926 for everybody up to that time, but it needs more research. So I'll leave myself that.
I also think that when you're looking for the voter registrations where you were wanting to add the wikis or find the indexes in there, I think you need to look for great registers. I think that's where we find them, as great registers, like 1866 to 1898 indexes.
Now those are the voting registers. And that's where we got the information about what PR and DIST stand for.
So then what we're actually looking for is the naturalization record?
Right, we wanted to make sure that we had identified all of the wiki articles that referred to those 1898 index cards, so that we could put in there the information, what PR and DIST stand for. And one of the downsides of a wiki is that there can be multiple articles, sort of overlapping articles, and we have put our information in one of them, but somebody may come across that collection through another article and never see that information that we entered. So that's why I would like to be sure that, you know, in fact, maybe it would be even reasonable to write a short article about the 1898 index cards, because there wasn't an article about that. And then if people are looking and they come across the 1898 index card and they search for a wiki article about it, they would find it. So these are things that you can do. If you have found something that you spent some time searching for, you want to leave that knowledge where other people can find it. That's the bottom line.
Okay.
If you had the question, somebody else did. And to save them angst, because precinct 4 is very, I think, very different from district court 4. And so it's an additional piece of evidence. Maybe there are additional records for the 4th precinct and for the 45th Assembly District that we want to look for. And now we know that that is different from 4th Circuit Court. We can start looking for it.
Okay.
Mhm.
So deep dive.
Brain dead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.